Well, tonight, a WSFA 12 News investigation. Alabama is in the top 10 in the country for vehicles hit by trains.
Now, after digging into that dubious ranking, we have learned fewer than half of the state's railroad crossings have gates or flashing lights to warn motorists of an oncoming train. WSFA 12 News reporter Samuel King is out covering dangerous crossings tonight right here in Montgomery. So, Sam, you sifted through a lot of data and found out that some of the most dangerous crossings in the state don't even have gates, much less lights.
And Bob, part of the problem is the sheer number of crossings in Alabama, more than 6,200 private and public crossings in the state. And combine that with the fact that Alabamians drive a lot, and that equals a great potential for danger. We spoke with one mother who knows that danger firsthand.
Trains are an unavoidable part of life in Jemison.
He had grew up, around these tracks, and he was familiar with the trains.
Brenda Jones's 16-year-old son, Matt, had stayed home sick from school.
And he had decided that he would wander out to get something to eat. I had left a note to tell for him to call me, and he did. And he asked me, he said, "Mama, what do you want?" And I told him. And so the last words, he said, "I love you." And I said, "I love you, and I'll see you this afternoon."
Minutes later, he was dead. His vehicle crushed by an oncoming train at an ungated crossing. She believes a gate here, just like the one farther down the tracks, would have made a difference.
The bales and the crossings, to be put up to where the assurance of people that would be more aware of it.
Getting a gate installed isn't easy. The feds send money to states to pick which crossings get them, or can just get by with other warning signals.
And the criteria look at things like traffic volumes, the types of traffic, and accident histories, a number of other things. But those are some of the biggest things in order to prioritize crossings for the available funds.
We checked federal statistics to find out which crossings had the most collisions and whether they had gates, lights, or signs. Of the 16 crossings in the state with 3 or more collisions in the last 5 years, only 2 had gates. Others did have flashing lights. This crossing on Tyson Road in Lowndes County had 3 collisions in 5 years, including one that killed 2 people. AlDOT hands out the money to install gates, but it's up to the railroad companies to install them. The $5 million the state got last year paid for 25 to 30 crossing upgrades. But that still leaves 60% of Alabama's public crossings unprotected by gates or flashing lights.
So we're making steady progress. It's a slow gain in how fast we can install active protective devices.
Even at some crossings with fatalities, like this one, the traffic counts are relatively low, so they're not as high on the priority list.
We make every effort to get the projects in place with the railroad companies so that we can get the crossing protection out there where it's needed the most.
But gates alone won't solve the problem. Operation Lifesaver works to reduce the number of deaths at railroad crossings and rights of way.
The best safety equipment is the driver that makes the right decision. And you may think you can beat that train, but one thing to think about is even if it's a tie, you lose.
Brenda Jones hopes her son's case will lead others to heed that advice.
Just be more cautious at a railroad crossing, look both ways, because I have looked and then get across, there'd be a train.
And I spoke with a CSX spokesman tonight, and he tells me that the railroad companies actually don't have the authority to install gates at crossings because gates are considered traffic control devices, not railroad traffic control devices. And he also says that CSX at least works to make sure the sight lines at railroad crossings are clear and also make sure that the horns on trains are in working order because, Bob, those are an effective safety device as well.
Thanks so much.